Tiriano, building bonds, building future.
Hello, this is Gaurav Singh, and today we will study about fundamental duties. As you know, in the previous lecture, we have already described about the fundamental duties. All the six types of duties were described there. And in this chapter, the second and the third topic is fundamental duties. So, as we know, human rights and fundamental rights help men, women, and children to develop and use their talents and qualities to satisfy their use their talents and qualities to satisfy their needs. Okay, so in the process of development, there are also certain duties that one must abide. And what is that duties? Their duties are known as fundamental duties. Okay, so first of all, the Constitution of India incorporated the fundamental duties in 1976 by the 42nd Amendment. And that fundamental duties enshrined in the Indian Constitution. Okay, so let us start what's fundamental duties. The fundamental duties are defined as the moral obligation of all citizens to help promote a spirit of patriotism and to uphold the unity of India. Okay, as we know, nation comes first. Nation comes first. So, it is a moral obligation of all citizens, including us, to help promote a spirit of patriotism, okay, and to uphold the unity of India. So, it will be there by fundamental duties. These duties set up in part 4A of the Indian Constitution, where concerned individual and the nation. Okay, so fundamental duties is mentioned in the part 4A of Indian Constitution. Okay, and as I have already explained that it is to promote the spirit of patriotism and to uphold the unity of India. Okay, because I got the rights to exercise our powers, okay, in terms of our rights. So there must be some duties as well. Means one who is providing you rights, you must know and you must follow some duties. Okay. And this fundamental duties was incorporated in part 4A of our constitution. I have already explained by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment. Remember this term. By 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, that is 1976. In 1976, it was amended and fundamental duties were added. Okay. Presently, we have how many fundamental duties? 11 fundamental duties in our constitution under Article 51A, which are statutory duties and are enforceable by law. So, what are the main points to be remembered in this slide? That is, it is in part 4A of Indian Constitution by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, and 11 fundamental duties are mentioned there, which comes under Article 51A after DPSP, that is Directive Principle of State Policy. Okay. Now, very first question rise in our mind: why do we need fundamental duties in the Constitution? I've already explained in the beginning of the lecture. The fundamental duties were included in the Constitution with the idea of curbing subversive and unconstitutional activities. Understood? So, it is included in the Constitution to curb subversive and unconstitutional activities. Means if we are performing any anti-national activities which is not in the favor of our nation, so it should not be there. So to curb these activities, there must be fundamental duties. Rights are already there to control all that things, rights with some limitations, but duties to curb the unconstitutional activities. Understood? Now, they were added by 42nd and 86th Constitutional Amendment Act. As of now, there are 11 fundamental duties. I have already explained. Citizens are morally obligated by the Constitution to perform these duties. Means we all are obliged towards or by the Constitution to perform these duties. Means some moral values are also there. Means our moral is also supporting. We must think about our nation and we should not perform any work, anything which is against our country, against our nation. So there must be some duties, and that is fundamental duties. And we are here, which is morally obligated by the Constitution to perform these duties. Okay. Now, as we have discussed, it comes under Article 51A. Article 51A of the Constitution talks about fundamental duties. It's very true. These duties were added by 42nd Amendment of the Constitution of India in 1976. It is already there, but we are especially talking about the Article 51A. Such duties are generally not found in the Constitution based on Western liberal tradition. Such duties are generally not found. It's not found generally in the Constitution based on the Western liberal tradition. They are invariably found in the Socialist Constitution. Basically, fundamental duties are present or found in the Socialist Constitution. Okay. Remember this term. And not found the Western liberal tradition. Understood? Now, the another question which raised in my mind, which countries have fundamental duties? It is here in India. While adopting fundamental duties in Indian Constitution, India inspired this from USSR. And right now USSR is, that was Soviet Sangh, is known as Russia. So Russia, Japan, China, Kuwait, Tunisia, these countries are having fundamental duties and India inspired from that country. Okay, and these countries are giving some moral obligation to the citizen to follow what? The fundamental duties. Now, the another point, that is importance of fundamental duties. What is the importance? As we know, fundamental duties infuse a feeling of patriotism and brotherhood in all individuals to dedicate themselves to the cause of the nation. Understood? So, respecting national institution, preserving unity and integrity of the nation, its cultural heritage, protecting its natural environment, developing scientific temper, and safeguarding public property. These are the cardinal duties which every citizen of the country must perform to contribute towards the accomplishment of national goals and objectives. These duties are, however, not enforceable by law. Okay, so these duties are not enforceable, but it should be promoted. So rights and duties go hand in hand, but rights enable us to stand dignified in the society, whereas duties facilitate a smooth social interaction and develop a sense of responsibility. Okay, so if we talk about the importance, so it was there. Okay, so some points I have mentioned in the slide, that is helpful in the enjoyment of rights, create sense of duty, create patriotism, guiding principles, remove deficiency from the constitution, non-controversial, educative significance. Means all these points are justifying that it is very necessary for a country, okay, for the development. Why? Because these points are justifying helpful in enjoyment of rights. Okay, if you are having some duties, so you will also always enjoy the rights. Create sense of duty. Okay, so if you are not having any duty, so you will not be responsible. Either you are from responsible towards your family, or perhaps you are not responsible for family, but you must have to be responsible for the country. Create patriotism, desh bhakti ko jagana. So create it, patriotism. Okay, because you are showing yourself, yeah, I am very much loyal, I am very much dedicated for the nation and the national growth. For that purpose, it is showing, yeah, you are having the passion to join Indian Army, Indian Air Force, Indian Navy, Indian Administrative Service, that is IS. It shows because you are taking the responsibilities and you are curious to pay the duty towards that. Understood? So that is the great patriotism. Guiding principles. You will guide the principles. Remove deficiency from the Indian Constitution. So whatever the problems and deficiency, whatever you're lacking, you can by adding your duties, by paying your duties, you can remove that deficiency from the Constitution. Okay, so it also should be non-controversial. Okay, means suppose you are taking the fruits from the plant or the trees, and you are not watering, you are not serving that, you are not taking care of that plant or the trees, so it will be the part of controversy. Means you are taking all kinds of facilities from that, but you are not responsible for that simultaneously. Okay, so then next one, educative significance. It should be educative. You must learn, you must facilitate the education. Means educational significance should be there. That's why this is very important, our fundamental duties. If fundamental duties are there, so all these are there. Understood? Next, now we will discuss here about the fundamental duties here. First one, to abide by the constitution and respect its ideals and institution of national flag and the national anthem. So respect its ideals, freedom fighters, institutions like Niti Aayog, commissions, national flag, national anthem, Jana Gana Mana. So we must pay it its duty to uphold and protect sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. Exactly. We must protect it. It is the second duties. Now third duties, to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, and regional or sectional diversities to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. So, we must promote the harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people. Understood? Transcending religious, linguistic, and regional or sectional diversities. Exactly. To renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. Understood? So, the fourth one, to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. We must have to be compassion for the living creature. We must protect the environment. All the natures are for us. We are consuming the natural resources. So, if we are taking from them, we must have to pay back something to them. To safeguard public property and to abjure violence. It is the fifth one, to safeguard public property and to abjure violence. Okay, we are here to save the public properties like monuments, temples, okay, some other school, government schools, because it is the very, killer mindset of Indians. It is public property, so we can harm. No, it is not good. It is also constructed by the people because India is a democratic country where most of the participation everywhere, either it is financial participation, political participation, it is the citizen of the country and they are Indians. So it is your property, you must have to protect them. Now, the sixth one, to cherish and follow the noble ideas which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Means we must follow the ideas which inspired our national struggle for freedom. So why Gandhi inspired? Why Jawaharlal Nehru? Why Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar? Why all of them got inspiration? From where they got the inspiration? Because they were very much conscious for the country. They were very much devoted for the country. All the decisions were taken in the favor of the country. Understood? So we must learn from them all the ideals. Okay, now the seventh one, to defend the country and render national service when called upon to so. Okay, so to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so. Whenever we will asked to serve the country, we must have to be appear for that. अंडरस्टूड. देश में कभी भी जरूरत पड़े, कभी बुलावा हो तो हम लोगों को जाना होगा. इट इज आवर ड्यूटी. जाना चाहिए. देश है तो हम है तो कल है. अंडरस्टूड. सो इट इज देयर. नाउ द नेक्स्ट, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. We should not harm our culture. We must follow our culture because India is a diverse country. Despite being there is unity in diversity. Understood? Unity in diversity. There is diversity despite being India is a country where unity is still existing. Understood? So it should be there. Now, to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. So, scientific temper should be developed in the country. Humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform should also be developed. If it will be there, it means we are responsible for the growth. I'm taking example of Japan. Japan is a very rich in human resource. They are not having that much natural resource. It is island country. It is not a landlocked country. It is a coastal country where it is very crucial to create human resources for the development. And right now it comes in the line of developed nation. India is having vast and very rich resources, despite being India is not in the list of developed country. Still it is a developing country. Okay, so if scientific temperament or temper will grow, then there will be scientific development, research and development will take place. Okay, so we can create our own. We should not be dependent to other countries. Understand? So it is there. And the last duty is to strive towards excellence in all shapes of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rise to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. So we must work hard for to strive excellence in all spheres of the individual and collective activity. Okay, like if we'll talk about the PSLV, Polar Satellite Launching Vehicle, India is supreme. India is an excellence in expertise. All the countries in the world are dependent over India for the PSLV, Polar Satellite Launching Vehicle, because we are having the excellency. We are also guru of yoga. We are having the excellency and expertise. So it can be developed by paying these duties, that is fundamental duties. Okay, so these are the total 11 fundamental duties. Understand? Now, as we know, by looking this picture, know your rights, fulfill your duties. Then we will have a balance. So for the balancing, it is important to know your rights, fulfill your duties. Understood? So then only it will be in the equilibrium. Everything will be on the same track. Whatever was the desire and goals of freedom fighter. Understood? I have already described. It is in the flow chart and it is the mind map. You can also understand by reading this. Okay, the same thing is mentioned here. It is your mind map. All the 11 fundamental duties are mentioned here. Understand? Now, this is also flow chart or flow diagram. In this fundamental duties are given. Fundamental duties comes in Indian Constitution under Article 51A. And all that 11 fundamental duties are mentioned. Abide the Constitution, to cherish the national ideas, uphold sovereignty, unity, defend the country, and to promote the harmony and spirit in the brotherhood, to value the preserve the rich heritage, protect natural environment, to develop the scientific temper and humanism, to save the public property, to strive towards excellence, to provide opportunity and education. So these are the 11 fundamental duties, which is in the summary form. You can understand by reading this also. Now, I will differentiate between rights and duty. Here, these are the rights and freedom guaranteed by constitution of some countries of the world to their citizens. These rights have a legal sanction and are enforceable in the court of law. And on another hand, about the duties, fundamental duties is a basic duty or responsibility bestowed on you as a citizen of the country. It is enforceable in the court of law, but it is not enforceable in the court of law. As we know, rights and duties go hand in hand. Fundamental right exists by virtue of facts that you are a human being. And about the duties exist as a responsibility on you as a human being. Means we are having rights, that's why we can consider ourselves as a human being. But as we are human beings, so we also exist some responsibility as a human being, and that is fundamental duties. Fundamental rights is based on privilege granted to you. But fundamental duty is accountability. We are accountable. Okay, and it is a privilege granted to us. Understood? So this is there. I have already explained you in the fundamental rights chapter. That was, there are 6 fundamental rights, where in the duties there are 11 fundamental duties. Any citizen, for that matter, can make full use of his fundamental rights pertaining to right to life, freedom of speech. Understood? Matter can make full use of his fundamental rights pertaining to right of life, freedom to speech, etc. Where in that matter is expected to carry out fundamental duties fully well, so that the society as a whole will be benefited. If we will pay the duties, then the whole society will get benefited. While in the freedom, we are having a separate rights. Basically, it is for all, but it depends on individual, whether you are violating that rights or you are following that rights. It depends upon individual. Okay. So now in the conclusion, fundamental rights and duties are of no use until we use our rights for betterment of our society. जब तक आप अपने समाज के लिए काम नहीं करेंगे, तब तक इस मौलिक अधिकार और मौलिक कर्तव्य, that is fundamental rights and fundamental duties, we will unable to achieve anything. Only written things are of no use until we make it in our practice. Understood? जब तक आप इसे प्रैक्टिस में नहीं लाएंगे, इस लिखी हुई चीजों का कोई यूज नहीं. There is no meaning of reading all these things. So it's time we leave our differences behind, come together and fight for things that are fundamentally rights. Let's show them our strength in numbers and solidarity. Then only the revolution can happen. So it is important, until unless you will not take care of anything about the society, about the nation, it will be always in the written book, that is Indian Constitution. So we must have to be very much practical. We must have to be very much particular for the judgment, for the justice, for the behavior, for the moral values, for the ethical values. So it is important there. Understood? So it was all about the fundamental duties, where I also tried to interconnect with fundamental rights with fundamental duties. Okay, so thank you, and thank you very much. Have a nice day. Okay, I hope you all are enjoying the lectures at your home. And due to coronavirus, we are also maintaining the social distancing. We are also following all the guidelines given by the government of India as well as WHO. So, thank you once